Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. All right, in this lesson, okay, it's going to be called Now Comes the Supernatural Part. Okay, and basically we're going to go into a few precepts dealing with the rest of prophecy. All right, what I mean by the rest of prophecy is that, as we see what's happening now, those of us that are spiritual and in the know, all right, and understand the way, the order of prophecy, we know what's to come next. And I've noticed this where you have a lot of individuals that it's easier for individuals to believe or understand or see what we're talking about when we deal with the natural part, all right? When we deal with the lockdowns and the measures that these devils are going to be taking, and all this, that, and the third, they can see, like they can, even if they don't believe on the level we do, they can say, well, I can see that happening, or I can understand, what you're saying. That makes sense. All right. And, you'll have them up until you keep going in the order of prophecy, because you tell people, well, this whole thing is obviously going to lead to the digital all. Oh, yeah, I can see that. They're going to they're going to declare martial law. Oh, I can see that. This is going to lead to riots, food shortages, chaos. Oh, yeah, no, that makes sense. I see what you mean. But when you start getting towards the rest of prophecy, the supernatural part, that's when a lot of people start to pull back. They start to, go into that, I don't know about all that. That's the spirit they start to go into. But at the end of the day, that the way prophecy moves is that from where we're at right now up until the kingdom, things are going to get more and more intense, but they're also going to, it's like a plane that is preparing for to lift off. It's going to go on the runway for a while, and then it's going to start to take off. And that's what we're getting ready to see, because the way the elect are going to be delivered out of here is going to be in a supernatural way. All right, spiritual power is a supernatural thing, but that's all a part of the scriptures. All right, the standard being lifted on the behalf of the elect is a supernatural thing. Men being able to fly, being able to disappear and reappear, these are supernatural things, but these are things that are going to be happening. All right, being able to eat during a famine. These are things that when you tell people, they look at you like, I mean, that's your plan. They say, yeah, I believe you. And then you say, they say, well, what do you plan to do? What are we going to do when this happens? And then well, hey, we're going to trust in the Lord. And the Lord said he got us. And then that's when they start to, oh, what do you mean trust in the Lord? You don't have any, well, you're not preparing physically. You don't have anything physical that you can do. And it's hard for them to believe it. But guess what? There's a scripture that says, I believe it's Psalms 110:3, thy people shall be what? Shall be willing in the day of thy power. Because as we move more further in prophecy, we're getting to the point where they're about to introduce the ultimate, that digital all, the mark. Okay, they're about to introduce that. And as these things take place, and the missiles start flying and the chariots start showing up, that's why it mentions in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, that this is going to be, the strangeness of our salvation is going to be beyond all that they looked for. All right, because the furthest they can see is something that they can picture carnally. But when it comes to men and women and children actually getting beamed up, as today's terms, they'll say abducted, and getting their bodies changed and becoming immortal and then coming back on the earth, these are things that this world cannot receive. All right, but this is the part that we're coming into. You had the Deuteronomy 28:68, the Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, the curses, all these different things. Ezekiel the 37th chapter. All right, the valley of the dry bones. The Lord putting the spirit on us to get the sinews and the flesh, and to come together. And now we're standing upon our feet, an exceeding great army in the spirit. But now it's time for the Lord to kick it up a notch, because the scriptures say that the deliverance out of this Egypt is gonna eclipse that of the old Egypt. And the deliverance out of the old Egypt was a supernatural deliverance. So how much more for this one? Okay. But that's what's going to happen. That's the future. Okay. So let's go into the scriptures. This is the book of Malachi, chapter 4, verse 2. And it says, "But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall." So how is Yahushai gonna come with healing in his wings? All right, it's gonna be when he makes his return. But even before he makes his return on the earth, okay, he is gonna have angels, all right, watching over the elect, providing for them, protecting them. Because when the enemy comes in like a flood, that standard is gonna be something that is gonna change the scenario to where you go from being in a dire situation to now being in a position where you're good, a position where you're laughing at this destruction. You know, not in the sense of, you know, it's so comical, but almost like you scoff at it because you through the spirit, you know that the Lord got your back. Okay? So this is the book of, because these are all a part of the scriptures, and the scriptures, the prophecies have to all come to pass. That means the bitter and the sweet, and that means the carnal and the spiritual, and that includes the supernatural. That includes men being able to fly, being able to run at super speeds, being able to teleport, being able to manifest things that you actually think about. Okay, being able to do these things. Guess what? That's gonna happen. Being able to turn stones into food. And all of these different forms of things that the world considers to be impossible, these things are all going to be possible because, according to prophecy, they're going to take place. And prophecy cannot be broken. So through prophecy, the impossible becomes possible. All right. And because we believe it and we trust in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Lord willing, we will experience it. And others will witness it. Now, this is the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 13. Because, like I mentioned, you're going to have instances of supernatural things taking place on the earth before Yahushai comes down. All right? Before our bodies get changed. You know, the Lord is going to have it to where, you know, you might have some brothers that receive spiritual power. You might be able to read minds. You might be able to teleport. You might, you know, be able to control things with your mind. Disappear, reappear, all of these different things we're going to be able to do, because we're going to be in certain situations where the Lord might see it. He might see fit for us to be blessed with spiritual power in that situation, to where you can harden your body to so hard that nothing can you know, hurt you. There might be a guillotine about to fall on your neck, and the Lord might say, "Not today. You don't die today." And now all of a sudden the blade hits your neck and it breaks. And you just feel that surge of energy. These are things that when people see, they're going to bug out. They're going to, whoa, what the hell is going on? They're going to think that as crazy as all hell breaking loose is, there's nothing crazier. Like, it can't get crazier than this. And then they see these things happening, and then they're like, yo, you know, like mini bright burns. And people are going to start, you know, they're going to start wilding. The carnal-minded people, they're not going to believe their eyes. They're not going to believe what they're seeing. Okay, but we're going to believe it because we're, Lord willing, going to be a part of it. Because it's all a part of the scriptures, and it's written in the script that these things must come to pass. And if you believe in prophecy, if you believe in the words of the Heavenly Father, then you have to believe in this as well. And as the situation gets more dire, and the grip gets tighter, we draw closer and closer to that supernatural breakthrough. You know, that one day where that first event just happens. And it's like a floodgate of just, you know, no more carnality. Everything is you got to see to believe. Well, you about to see some things that you can't believe. Okay, so this is 1 Thessalonians 4 and 13. "But I would not have you be ignorant," meaning without knowledge, "brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope." So what does Paul mean about them which are asleep, meaning those that are dead? Okay, so I won't have you, walking around lacking knowledge concerning those that are dead, that ye sorrow not, because usually when people die, you mourn. But a lot of people believe that when somebody dies, they're not gonna see them again. When somebody dies, that's it. When somebody dies, that's it. That's why they cry and they mourn. But they don't understand the resurrection and the reincarnation and that aspect of life. As it says, even as others which have no hope. Verse 14, for if we believe that Yahushua died and rose again, that was a supernatural act. Matter of fact, when Yahushua died, it said that you had people that came out of the graves and lived full lives. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine if your husband or your child or your mother or your family member or your loved one died with, let's say, during the years of Yahushua's ministry, right? You lose a loved one and it's been like maybe a year, and all these things are happening. And, back in the ancient world, you had a husband and a wife, and the husband was really the provider and protector. So if the husband died and the woman became a widow, and let's say, she wasn't able to, the family wasn't in a position to help her out, she would pretty much be on her own. That's why the Lord had certain situations set up for the poor and the widows, because it would be hard for them since their provider is gone. And they can't, and then if they weren't able to remarry, they would pretty much wouldn't get any support from anywhere. So now imagine your husband dies and you're a widow, wondering how you're gonna make a living and what are you gonna do. And then all of a sudden, upon the death of Yahushua, your husband comes back. And he's not a zombie, he comes back as him. Now, the scriptures didn't specify or say explicitly that these men or these individuals that came out the graves and lived full lives had died just recently. They could have been dead months, they could have been dead years. So can you imagine that? You buried your loved one, their body's gone. It's broken down into the earth. And all of a sudden, you hear it knocking at your door, you go to see it, and it's your dead husband. He's been dead for 2 years. He's been dead for 5 months. He's been dead for 1 year. And you open it, and you looking at him like, whoa. He's looking at you like, I'm home. And people are like, what the hell is going on here? But just like these things happened back then, you're going to have even more supernatural things happen now. Because I always say this, but remember that the scriptures say that the times now are going to be like never before. That's in judgments, that's in destruction, but that's also in deliverance. There's a reason the deliverance out of this place is going to eclipse the deliverance out of ancient Egypt, because we're going to be in a time like never before. So the things that are going to be happening are going to be unprecedented. So certain spiritual acts, this is going to be the first time certain things might be happening. And it's going to be written about and it's going to be talked about when we get to the kingdom. Okay? So back to 1 Thessalonians 4:14, because think about it, right? When have individuals been beamed up and changed to supernatural beings and brought back onto the earth? You had certain individuals that got translated and got taken to the spirit world. But when did you have individuals get beamed up, all right, Israelites get beamed up, get their bodies changed, become immortal, and they come back on the earth? Never. This is going to be the first time of this happening, and it's getting ready to happen very soon. So it says, for if we believe that Yahushua died and rose again, even so, them also which sleep, meaning those that are dead, in Yahushua will the power bring with him. For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, and with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first. So once again, in this time, you're going to have people that are dead coming back to life. All right, for different purposes. But those that died in Yahushua are going to come back and are going to rise first. All right, and then they're going to get their bodies changed. But can you imagine all of this? This is something that You know, it's going to be interesting to experience a situation like this. These situations will need to happen for us to make it through these perilous times, but to actually experience these things, though we know it and have meditated on it thousands of times, to actually experience these things is gonna be a completely different feel. Okay, I don't know what it feels like to get beamed up. You know, do you know what it feels like to have an angel manifest? You know, and like set up a force field around you or something, or teleport you from one place to another. Okay, we don't know what these things are like, but we will experience, some of us will experience some of these supernatural things before Yahweh Shai makes his return, because it's a part of prophecy. So we have a lot more in our corner than people think. That's why we're not to fear. Don't worry, man. The Lord just has it looking like we're the ones in a bad position, because it's for shock value. The Most High loves shock value. He likes the unexpected, the underdog story, the how the hell did that happen, so that people can give praise and reverence to him, because they'll understand that there's no way this can happen on its own. It has to be orchestrated. The people on the bottom, the people who look like they were losing, all of a sudden are getting KOs, because the Lord is going to turn the tables. He's going to turn the tables on the whole world, as a matter of fact. Okay, so it says, verse 17, then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, which are the chariots. But how come they don't bring this out in the churches? But these are actual prophecies, that the chariots that we see, we can only see clips and videos, and maybe sometimes you'll see it in real life, but they're so far away you can pretty much just see their light, as they're flying through different areas. Those chariots, we are going to actually be in them and get to experience what it's like to be in a chariot, what it's like to actually see an angel, not in the form of being unaware when you see it or see one, but to actually see. We're going to see the Archangel Michael. We're going to see Yahweh Shai. We're going to see the Archangel Gabriel, okay, Raphael, Uriel, and the rest of the angels. We're going to see what they actually look like. We're going to see them in action. We're going to see a whole country get destroyed. These are going to be all these things happening at once. And the world is not going to be able to receive these things. These are only for the spiritual. This is why it takes a spiritual mind to understand this, because you can't explain something like this to somebody that is in the world, because their mind hasn't been opened through faith to understand and to receive things that they cannot see, things that they've never seen or heard of before, and things that they cannot prove. So because of their lack of faith, you can't explain something like this to somebody in the world. All they can look at you as is crazy. Verse 18, it says, wherefore, exactly, they'll think you're insane. To meet the Lord, Salakia, continuing in 1 Thessalonians 4 and 17, to meet the Lord in the air, we're going to meet the Lord in the air, so shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore, comfort one another with these words. Why? Because these are comforting words. I mean, knowing that destruction is coming, but yet having an escape, that's comforting. That means that you have something to keep you calm and to look forward to as these bad things are happening all around you. And as people don't understand what's going on, we are going to be perfectly calm and sane, because we are going to have answers. The main questions are what's going on and what do we do? But in that time, the Lord is going to direct us, all right, as to where to go and what to do and how to be delivered from the situations that we find ourselves in. Whether the Lord does it whether he intervenes but does it in a carnal way, or whether he actually intervenes in a supernatural way. Either way, if you're of the elect and you're not destined to be a martyr, it's going to be like a cheat code, because you're not going to die. Okay, unless the Lord says, look, you're going to die to glorify me, you're not going to die. It doesn't matter what situation you find yourself in. You're not going to die. All right? And that's set in stone, because that's the will of the Lord. That's why Yahushua said, there be some of you standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming. Okay, so for some of us, this lifetime is going to be the only, the last time we get reincarnated. Okay, pretty much for all of us. All right, because even those that die as martyrs for Yahushua, they're not going to get reincarnated. They're going to get resurrected. They're going to be brought back to life. They're not going to need to be born again in the kingdom as newborn babies, as those that die, or the wicked Israelites that don't make it on this side. They're the ones that are going to have to go through that. So this is the book of 1 Corinthians 15 and 51. Behold, I show you a mystery. And a part of the stability of mind is the knowledge of the supernatural. Okay? That's a part of the stability of mind. Because if you don't believe in the supernatural things of prophecy, you will have a hard time maintaining your stability and your sanity as you're seeing the supernatural destruction taking place. What will you do if you see an actual demon? Maybe you see a demonic spirit jump into a doll like Chucky, and he's running around with a knife. You know, and you like, what the hell? Or maybe you're looking at a poster, and the poster just jumps out. You know, and that shit is real now, and is running around chasing people. Or maybe a gargoyle statue, and it just comes to let you walking, and that shit just turns like this, and just looks at you, and his eyes just glow red. And then it just starts flying, coming after people. Things like this are going to happen, but because we're aware that the Lord is going to be bringing these things to come to pass, the scriptures talk about spirits that are created for vengeance, beasts newly created. So because we're aware that these things are going to be happening, we're not going to be losing our minds as to, whoa, what the hell is that? All right. And at the same time, we're going to be aware that, hey, look, we know that we need some out of this world deliverance, but we know that something like that is already on the way. Okay, so don't fear, because help is on the way. And nothing happens without running by the Most High first. Yahweh sanctions everything before it takes place. So he's already sanctioned the path of the elect, that no harm is going to come to them. So no, even if there's a bullet coming straight to you, unless the Lord says that bullet, yes, I gave it permission to shoot this individual or to hit this person for them to die, that bullet is not going to harm you. It'll either go right through you, it'll bounce off of you, it'll just do it'll do something other than hit you, because the Lord did not give the green light for the bullet to hit you. Now imagine somebody seeing that. You're walking and people are shooting at you, but for some reason the bullets cannot touch you. Every time it gets close, it just goes around you. And people are looking at it, they're going to be losing their minds. They're going to be looking at people shooting. They're going to be seeing the bullets come out the gun. They're going to be seeing it come in at full speed towards you. But for some reason, the second it's about to touch you, it just like ricochets somewhere else. Because the Lord, unless Yahweh sanctions that that's how you're going to die, or that's what's going to happen to you, if he does not sanction that, it doesn't matter what happens, you are going to be fine. You're going to be just fine. All right? And we are going to be glad. I mean, who doesn't want to, who wouldn't want spiritual power? You know, who wouldn't want to experience deliverance on that level? Especially when you need it most. Okay? It's going to come in, the Lord is going to come in so clutch and so handy, you know, that the water is not going to be enough. You know? But let's go back to the book of 1 Corinthians 15 and 51. It says, behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep. Now, why is this a mystery? Because a lot of people don't understand this. All right. And there's certain people that don't even read these verses. So they don't even know something like this is in the Bible. If you tell so-called Christians, do you know that in the Bible, you know, Paul mentions us becoming immortal, our bodies being changed? The scriptures talk about that. Do you know they're gonna be like, what the hell is new bodies? What's that about? But that's why it's a mystery. It says, we shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, meaning they won't be able to die again, and they'll be perfect. And we shall be changed, and we're going to be changed to perfection. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and these bodies, this flesh is corrupt. All right, it's corrupt in just the way that it's made. That's why we go off not wanting to go off, but as the Apostle Paul said, it is not I that sinneth, but sin that dwells within me, because of this corruptible flesh. So this corruptible is going to put on incorruption, meaning we're going to be made perfect. We're not going to do things against our will. We're not going to have thoughts against our will. It says, and this mortal must put on immortality. That means we're never going to die again. That means that we're not going to be harmed. Nothing is going to be able to hurt us. For when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. So we're going to get the victory over death. You know? Now, like I said, we don't know the exact scenarios that we're going to be put in, but imagine if you were going somewhere. I remember the elder I taught in our camp. Basically, he did a testimony of a dream he had years ago. In that he was running with somebody, and you know they were being chased, and whoever was chasing them opened fire. And I believe he said that he got hit, he got shot, and if I remember correctly, whoever he was with ran. I think left him. You know, and he got shot, and he was pretty much bleeding out, and he was thinking, damn, am I really gonna die, you know, here and whatnot? And he said that he revived. The Most High basically put his spirit back in him and healed that body, and he was able to, you know, come back to life right then and there on the spot. Okay, and who's to say the Most High won't do things like that? You know, you might get shot up, and when the coast is clear, they walk away, they think you're just a corpse. The Lord just puts the spirit back in you, and you just get back up again. You know, like Jon Snow. For those who know, you know. All right, you just wake up again like, whoa, and you just keep on going, you keep on pushing. Many things that we cannot imagine are going to be happening. These things these scenarios and examples I'm giving you, this is coming from the mind of a mere man. Now, how much more for the mind of the Most High, the ultimate architect, who has laid down the world in front of him, and he's looking at it all, and he's like, all right, do this way, I want this that way, okay? Scenarios that we can't even begin to fathom, all right? Power that we would not be able to even comprehend how power like this even exists. And yet, some of us are going to get to experience things like that. You know, experience the rush of the spirit. You know, when you're in the spirit, you're in the spirit. But we're going to get a more intense portion of the spirit in order to physically manifest power. You know, electricity, telekinesis, all of these things are possible through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And we can imagine it to an extent, but when the Lord actually does it, just witnessing something like that alone is going to be crazy, man. Okay, it's going to be crazy, but we believe it. Call us crazy all you want. You know, but what we're saying is going to come to pass. Yes, we're going to get delivered out of here. Yes, the clouds, there's a day coming very soon that you're going to look up and the sky is going to be blocked out with UFOs, so-called UFOs, flying left and right. Like literally like a scene out of a Marvel movie. All right. And we're basically seeing the beginning of that now. So let's go back here. 1 Corinthians 15 and 55. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? For the sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. But thanks be to the Most High, which giveth us the victory through our Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach. And we were able to receive that victory by believing. Okay? By believing on the Most High through Yahushua, we were able to receive that because that allowed us to be a part of the body of Yahushua. Therefore, the Lord conquered it, and we got the victory through him. Verse 58, therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast. So knowing these things are coming, knowing these things are these blessings and this deliverance is coming on our behalf, be what? Steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. Meaning you don't have to give in. You don't have to break. You don't got to comply with these devils because we have a reason not to. We have another option. We have another way. All right? But you have to believe that. For as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. So the Lord, all the work that we've put in for the Lord, he's not going to forsake us. The Lord wants to show off. He wants to show his power. He wants to put, supernatural things on the earth to where people know and reverence and say, yes, that is done by a supernatural being. And guess what? We are the one group that push on the planet Earth faith on a level of performing miracles. Faith that on a level of seeing things that people would have originally thought to be impossible. We push that, and we push it in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So when these things that we've been prophesying about start taking place, people are going to recognize that these are the men that were calling upon their God, and these things are happening. So their God must be real. An example is when Elijah went up against the prophets of Baal. And what happened? Why did Jake end up believing what Elijah was saying at the end of the day? It was because of the action, because the fire actually came down from heaven when Elijah called it. And it came, and he called on the name of the Lord. You notice the miracles that were performed, they were performed in the name of the Lord. Whether it was exorcising demons over somebody or healing somebody, it was all done in the name of the Lord. Why do you think the Lord had it done in his name? Why do you think the power is in the name of the Lord? Because he wants it to be known that he's doing it. He wants it to be known because if we call on the Lord and these things happen, people will recognize that, oh, it's their power. He's doing it. Why do you think the wicked scribes and Pharisees and chief priests told the apostles not to prophesy in the name? Because the name was going on around and people were starting to know and believe on the name. Even some of those priests. So they were like, stop teaching in that name. And that's what we're doing. We're spreading the name of the Lord. And these miracles are going to be performed in the name of the Lord so he can get his credit. All right. So now let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 40, verse 22. It says, he giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Now, how do you think we're going to fare against guns? If you get shot in a vital area without any certain areas you get shot, it doesn't matter if they rush you to the hospital, you're gonna die. And these devils actually have it in their plans. It's in their intentions to kill us. So technically we are faint. Technically, if it was to go man to man, or us with whatever we have now physically against them and their technology, we don't stand a chance. Unmanned drones, microwave weapons, super soldiers, invisible weapons, high sound frequencies, things that we don't even, we haven't even seen before. What chance do we stand on our own against something like that? But that's why it says he giveth power to the faint. We're faint, and we're going to need the power of the Lord to do these things. Verse 30, even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. You're going to have people that are breaking because they don't want to wait upon the Lord. Because they're anticipating, they're saying that I can't do anything unless I go and I comply. So I'm just going to go and comply. But they're not waiting on the Lord. We that wait upon the Lord are going to be the ones that reap that reward. It says here that what? They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. That means we're going to fly. It doesn't mean we're going to grow actual wings out of our back, because that's going to be man merged with animal or beast or whatever the case is. But we know that that's not the order in which man was created. There's one kind of flesh of men and one of beasts. There's not a mix of both. Okay? So we're not going to be growing physical wings out of our backs, but we're going to be able to fly. Because being able to mount up with wings as eagles means you're going to be able to fly, like in like Hancock, when you're able to just shoot up into the air and just zoom through the skies. They shall run and not be weary. Now, when you're weary, that's being pretty much tired, exhausted, fatigued. Now, in this society, you may, it doesn't matter how hard you train. You run a couple of blocks, a couple miles, whatever it is, as a human being, you'll get tired. And these soldiers, trust me, they train so that they can up their stamina. They can hold their breath underwater. They can do things that the human body, on average, cannot do, because it's not. People don't train it to do that. But these guys, these troops, the special forces, they're trained to do that. Okay? So imagine being chased by them. The scriptures say that what? You shall run and not be weary. You running 20, 30, 50 miles and you're not tired. You doing all this work, but you're not tired. That's going to be very handy. That's going to be very beneficial. It says they shall walk and not faint. Okay? And no weapon that they form is going to prosper against us. Imagine if they shot a freaking bazooka and it just came and you were able to just stop it like Neo in the Matrix. You were able to just pick up your hand and you just stop it in midair. And you just turn it and send it back their way. I mean, at that point, why would, you got people that, we got to get guns, we got to get this. That's not going to do anything, man. Guns, your weapons against them, it's not going to do anything. And plus, even if you had grade A weapons, you would not know how to use them better than Esau himself. But what we do know how to use better than Esau is the spirit. And we know how to tap into the spirit. And it's all through this. Okay? Do you believe it or not? And if you can believe, you can do great miraculous things. Because the Lord is looking for those vessels. Those that truly have faith, you're like, you light up on the Lord's radar. And that's where he's going to send his spirit to. Okay? Those angels, they're going to be able to spot out the elect because of that faith that's within them. And so they're going to know that if they go into a room and their job is to eliminate everybody in there, if they see the elect in there, they're going to deliver the elect out before they take out that whoever it is in that room that needs to go. You got to go. You got to go. This is Jeremiah 51:19. It says, the portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things. Now that he is talking about the Most High. Okay? And Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Thou, and now referring to us, thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. With thee will I break in pieces the nations. Now, how is the Lord going to use us to break in pieces the nations? Okay? It doesn't matter how nice you are, man. Good luck taking on 10 men at the same time. Chasing 1,000, chasing 100. We can't do that right now. So how are we going to break in pieces nations and destroy kingdoms? Because the Lord is going to change us and he's going to act. We're not going to just get power. We are going to be powers. Okay? We're going to be powers. Our essence is going to be power. All right? It's going to be powerful. Our aura is going to be powerful. Okay? So it's not like a gun that you're only powerful when you have a gun with you, and when you don't, you're pretty much weak. You will not be able to strip us of our power. Because when the Lord gives it, it's going to be permanent. That's why he's going to change our bodies. And it's going to be a permanent part of us, and it's going to be special because not everybody's going to have it. So it says, thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, for with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms, and with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young, and with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. So the Lord is going to use us to pretty much subject the world under the authority of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that now? You know, you walk down the street, you seen 7-Eleven, McDonald's, you know, you seeing taxis and shit going down the road, and, you know, you got Jake grouped up in corners, and, you know, you go to the park and people playing chess and stuff on the, you know, you going to work. And I mean, this kind of life compared to what the kingdom is going to look like. And we're going to be here to see the whole transition. Can you imagine that? Man, that's going to be crazy, man. We're going to go from you running for the train, missing the train, you late to work, you know, you all messed up and shit, you know, to now being in a chariot, having your own chariot. You know, you up in the chariot. I mean, man, things, because we got to think big. We got to think out of the box. We have to think out of this universe, because the Lord is really going to give us the universe. He's going to give us everything. And we're going to be prepared to handle it, because we're going to be in charge of everything. Of course, under the authority of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Continuing in Jeremiah 51, verse 23. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock. And with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen. And with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. And I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, saith the Lord. Okay, so that's what we can get. That's what we can expect to see. You know, this country known for everything it's done, completely destroyed. Okay, so now lastly is move on. I have one more precept. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 36. And it says, O Jerusalem, look about thee toward the east. And you know what's going to be another beautiful part is seeing the things that we have believed, even in the times when some might say it was hard to believe them, because, you know, not only did you not see it, but pretty much the whole world was coming up against you. But yet we stayed faithful. And now to see the things that we believe actually manifesting in front of us, and then in front of the whole world, so now they can see it, is going to be a beautiful thing. Knowing that you were able to stay faithful even when everybody else came against you, even when it looked like you were just crazy, you still took that and you still maintained your faith, and now you're being rewarded for that. All right, now, as it says, O Jerusalem, look about thee toward the east, and behold the joy that cometh from thee, or cometh unto thee from God. Lo, thy sons come, whom thou sentest away. They come gathered together from the east to the west by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of God. Why do you think when the scriptures talk about the elect that were delivered, it always mentions them rejoicing and praising the Lord? Because that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be rejoicing and praising the Lord. All right, Salaki, you know, 1 second. All right, we're going to be rejoicing and praising the Lord because of how great a deliverance is going to be. As a matter of fact, before the destruction comes, the things the Lord is going to do for us now is we're going to rejoice and praise him. All right, because we're going to be put in certain situations, but we're going to remember that, hey, this is the same God that delivered Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego from a burning furnace. I mean, he did it to the point where not even the smell of fire or smoke was on them, and they were in the middle of the fire. All right, so I mean, you gotta, you know what I'm saying, you gotta think big, man, because the Lord did these things. All right, do you believe in pre-rapture? No, well, first off, there is no rapture. All right, there is no rapture, you know, as so-called Christians believe, where everybody's just gonna, you know, those that the Lord has chosen, they're just gonna, you know, and then there's gonna be that 7-year tribulation and whatnot. Well, the real rapture, I'll say this, the real rapture is gonna be when those missiles start coming and the Lord comes with the chariots and beams up his elect. Because you notice in a lot of these movies, the concept of the rapture, you see, you know, people going up, but where are they going? You know, are they just gonna go float in the clouds somewhere? No, they're really getting beamed up to be delivered Okay, as we read in the book of 1 Thessalonians and 1 Corinthians, they're getting beamed up to be delivered, okay, out of the destruction that's to come. And as we just read, to be gathered so that they can get changed and then get brought back. Okay, so let me read this real quick. This is True Awakening 777, Jeremiah 16 and 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, but the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, which is here in America, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land, into their land that I gave unto their fathers. And that's a promise that the Lord is going to keep. All right. So we're about to witness some supernatural things, but you have to believe, man. I remember the elder Yahshua made a statement a while back, and he said, faith provokes miracles. Okay, faith provokes miracles. So we want to see these things. You got to believe these things are going to happen. And it was faith that put these men, our forefathers, in positions that allowed the Lord to then perform miracles on their behalf. It was faith that had Daniel still pray to the Lord, even though there was a decree not to do so. And that put him in the lion's den, and that allowed the Lord to perform that miracle for him to still survive that. It was faith that put those 3 holy children in the furnace, and that allowed the Lord to deliver them out of it. All right. So all of these things that happened are through faith. Faith, you may say, well, how is it that I'm having faith, but I'm ending up in a bad situation? No, you're not ending up in a bad situation. You're ending up in a situation so that the Lord can deliver you out of it. Okay? The Lord is putting you in a position to where he can perform a miracle on your behalf. So if through your faith you end up in that position, you just got to be okay with it. Don't lose your mind. Understand that, look, if I got here through faith, then through faith I'm going to get out of here. The Lord got something. He got something up his sleeve. And there are going to be a lot of situations where you end up in positions that you do not know. You can't even remotely think of a way to get out of it. You literally can't. You're just like, even if I had power, I wouldn't know how to get out of this situation. And that's when the Lord is going to get you out of it. And after that happens, your faith is going to skyrocket. And you're not going to doubt the power of the Lord, because you're going to know that he's with us every step of the way. Even though we don't see him, the way events are going to be turning out on our behalf, and no evil is going to be able to touch us, all right, or our loved ones that the Lord decides to have mercy on, you're going to understand that there's a higher power, and he has favor. We've gained favor in his sight, and that's why things are going so well for us. All right. So as they come and they think that they have the upper hand, and they think that they're going to make our lives a living hell, well, the creator of all life says that we're going to be all right. So there's nothing to fear when it comes to whatever, mandates and requirements these devils are coming with. They have nothing on the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Absolutely nothing. Okay. And that power is on our side. So we got it all, man. It looks like we lost it all, but no, we really got it all. And it's about to be a win-win from now on. So just have the faith, man. Believe, relax, sit back, and let the Lord work. Don't be hasty. Don't try to go take things into your own hand. Sit back and watch Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai work. All right. So with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying and exhorting to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakha Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.